back, dear viewers. How deliciously curious. Tonight's tale is about love that refused to die. A silence too deep to stay buried, and the light that came back when it never should have. Midnight draws near, and with it, another tale best left untold. A story unearthed from silence. Sharp, strange, not quite real, but not entirely imagined either. Some whisper through the trees, others scratch beneath your floorboards. But this one begins deep beneath the ground. It begins in Van Meter, Iowa, a town once quiet, until the lights came, and something came with them. So, stay close, my midnight companions. Keep your lanterns burning low, and tread carefully, for even in death, some bones refuse to break. The year was 1903. The town of Van Meter was just a speck on the Iowa map. Dirt roads, wooden storefronts, a coal mine, and a single church spire reaching for the sky. Nothing happened in Van Meter, not until one night when something arrived. It began with a light. A faint blue glow appeared above the rooftops, drifting, flickering. At first, people thought it was a lantern or some nighttime prank, but it moved with purpose. It paused at windows, hovered silently above barns, and vanished just before dawn. Then the sightings began. A tall figure, too tall to be a man, was seen standing on a rooftop at midnight. It was draped in black, motionless, as though cloaked in shadow itself. Its face was obscured, except for two glowing blue eyes that cut through the fog like embers beneath water. A local shopkeeper stayed overnight in his store, hoping to catch the trespasser. He got his wish. The creature landed without a sound. It stared through the window, not breaking it, not threatening, just watching. When the man fired his shotgun, the creature didn't flee. The blast hit it square in the chest, but it didn't fall. It simply turned and drifted away. The next night, it returned, perched atop the church steeple, eyes glowing faintly, as if it could see something no one else could. People began to panic, but the visitor, it never attacked. It was seen standing in the center of the street at 3 a.m., illuminated only by its own glow. As the townsfolk approached, its eyes flared, it turned and vanished into the fog. The town was unnerved. They formed patrols, set watches, carried pistols, and when it appeared again, they fired, again and again. But the creature never flinched, and never fired back. By the 8th night, fear had curdled into suspicion, not of the creature, but of each other. People spoke in whispers, crossed the street to avoid conversation, and still, the lights came. A meeting was called in the town hall, not for patrols this time, but for answers. It was late, the hall dim, heavy with lamplight and dread. Men argued, women clutched rosaries. No one had any answers. At the back of the room, seated in silence, was Silas Thorne, the mine boss, older now, weathered, but still sharp-eyed and tight-lipped. When he entered, the room had gone quiet. Now he simply watched. But then another man stood. He had been sitting in the middle of the hall, alone, a former miner with a cane that tapped once against the wooden floor, like a clock, counting down. When he finally spoke, the room fell still. He said the townsfolk were wrong to be afraid of the creature, because it wasn't hunting them, it was searching, and he believed he knew what it was searching for. A name passed through his lips like a ghost. Althea Merrin. A few faces turned, Most didn't recognize it, but one man rose from the back of the room and left without a word. Althea was the wife of Thomas Merrin, a miner who died in an accident at the shaft. She had warned people, said the company ignored the signs, said she would speak out, and then, one day, she was gone. Some said she left town, started fresh somewhere else, but the old man had seen the truth. He had watched, hidden in the trees, as they buried her in the woods beyond the old shaft. A shallow grave, no marker, no prayer, just silence. Now he looked down at the floor, voice low and heavy. If the townsfolk wanted it to stop, they would have to find her, bring her home, and give her the rest she was denied. There was silence. Then slowly they looked at one another. No one spoke. They didn't need to. They knew what they had to do. By morning, the fog still clung to the trees as a small group of townsfolk made their way toward the edge of the old timber line, led by shame, hope, and shovels. They found the place just as the old man had described. The same trees, the same clearing, the woods beyond the old shaft, but the ground was already open. A dark gaping hole where her grave should have been, freshly unearthed. Empty. While the town had slept, one man had acted. He knew where to look. They dug where he told them. But when the mine came into view, they refused to go further. Now he stood at the mine's mouth, the sack at his feet. He carried it into the dark. The walls remembered him. He let the sack fall. Ash rose. He stood over the fire, watching Althea's remains turn to ash. He said nothing, just turned and walked away. His boots echoed down the tunnel, faster now, like something was chasing him. He stopped. The air had turned cold. Ahead, a figure stood waiting, still, silent. Thomas. He smiled. What Thomas had waited for all this time was already there. Althea. She smiled back, softly, knowingly, and for a heartbeat, they were together again. Cyrus looked between them. There was no escape. Thomas's eyes began to glow, cold, flickering blue. Althea's followed, twin stars rising in the dark. Light burst from Thomas, a surge of blue flame that tore through the mine. Fire roared outward, swallowing the dark. In the distance, villagers watched the mountain erupt. A sudden calm came over them. It was finally over. Days later, the sun rose clean. A congregation filed out of the chapel, lighter somehow, as if a weight had lifted. They lingered by the graveyard. No one spoke. No one needed to. Watching the breeze play through the grass. Beneath the old oak tree, two stones stood side by side. Thomas Merrin, Althea Merrin. Together at last. Love and vengeance, such a potent brew, stronger still when stirred in the dark. Poor Cyrus thought fire could erase the past, but the dead, the truly wronged, don't burn so easily. And now Thomas and Althea rest side by side, not buried by grief, but freed by it. The town forgets, of course. They always do. But on certain nights when the wind moves just right through the trees, some say you can still hear them, laughing. Or was that screaming? Well, best not to go listening too closely, Until next time, may your nights be quiet, your graves undisturbed, and your ghosts polite. The scent of mold and regret. I should really clean this place up before the rats move in. Spoke too soon.